The industry has made open-world video games a mainstay because of the depth of exploration they allow players, the intriguing lore that surrounds the world, the hours of life they can steal, and a number of other factors. The open-world strategy is unavoidable, despite the fact that some people may be getting tired of it. Of course, not everyone is made equal. Others dislike open-world games that are essentially a giant sandbox with icons scattered over every square inch of it because they can be somewhat desolate at times, almost always to their detriment. Elden Ring is an illustration of an open world that offers players breadth in its various settings, compelling lore like the reasons behind Caelid's peculiarities, and more. Even though it only came out last year, many already regard it as the gold standard for open-world video games. While some, like No Man's Sky, demonstrate how certain innovations can function, others, like Grand Theft Auto 3, Skyrim, and Zelda: Breath of the Wild, all move the goalposts of that standard. If this small selection of games isn't enough to convince you, there are excellent open-world games every year, and 2023 is no exception. The open-world genre is something to keep in mind because of how broadly it can be applied or defined. Atomic Heart, for instance, has a design that strongly suggests it is an open-world game, despite the fact that its creator has referred to it as a closed-world game. Furthermore, an excellent sandbox game and an open world are essentially interchangeable, but there are some key distinctions between the two, as seen in, for instance, the original Assassin's Creed games and the open-world RPGs Assassin's Creed Origins, Odyssey, and Valhalla. Most open-world video games are built on the premise that players should have as few restrictions as possible to go wherever they want. Elden Ring's Caelid is another excellent example of an area where players are not yet prepared to enter, but they are still free to do so. Here are the major open-world games confirmed for 2023, listed in alphabetical order, regardless of how players define the genre. Video games with open worlds in 2023. Players in Assassin's Creed Mirage will assume Basim's role as he joins the Hidden Ones, with the game taking place in Baghdad. Given that Baghdad is divided into 4 major districts, its sandbox, open world is significantly smaller than Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Additionally, by concentrating on a single city, the game is able to reintroduce its more complicated Parker system, which will play an important part in the upcoming game along with stealth and assassination. The fantasy open world of Athia, where Forspoken's main character Frey has been transported, serves as the setting for the film. What's intriguing is how the game intends to give Frey some magical Parker skills, ideally making exploration of them as thrilling as possible. Fans have been waiting for a true open-world recreation of Hogwarts Castle and its surroundings, including Hogsmeade and the Forbidden Forest, and they finally have it in Hogwarts Legacy. The player should be able to explore the grounds, finish the story, and unearth any other secrets buried in Hogwarts Legacy's titular castle. However, some areas, such as the common rooms of Gryffindor, Slytherin, Hufflepuff, and Ravenclaw, are only accessible if the player chooses that house. Even though it has only received one trailer up to this point, Marvel's Spider-Man 2 is scheduled for release in the fall of 2023. In other words, very little is confirmed, but it appears that players are going back to New York to deal with fresh foes. The Venom character from Marvel's Spider-Man 2 appears to be a key character, and Kraven the Hunter was also possibly hinted at. Fans will be swinging along before the year is out, though it is unclear how the sequel will improve and innovate on the open-world strategy of the first. In Skull and Bones, players are dropped into the depths of the Indian Ocean, where they must climb the ranks and create their own pirate legacy. In Skull and Bones, the map size is approximately 625 kilometers, and players will explore a sizable open world at sea. This is due to the shared open world, the multiplayer focus, and the up to 20 players per server capacity. Due to its emphasis on narrative and the scattered, minor story elements, the increased size is therefore necessary to make its world as captivating as possible. One of Bethesda's most ambitious new intellectual properties is Starfield, which was just released. The entire galaxy serves as a player's home base, not just the wasteland or Tamriel. Fans can anticipate a wide variety of different experiences because each of Starfield's planets is procedurally generated with some additional fine-tuning. The titular group of supervillains appears in the open-world metropolis of Suicide Squad. Kill the Justice League. It's unclear what to anticipate at this point because the game's story and gameplay haven't received as much attention in the marketing as the Justice League and their surroundings. But with Rocksteady in charge, it's undeniably one of the most thrilling open-world games to come. The eagerly awaited sequel to Breath of the Wild, The Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom, is set in the same Hyrule as players first encountered in Breath of the Wild. Although Link won't be restricted to Hyrule but will also be able to explore above it, it will be interesting to see how the ground world is improved. A few of the Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom trailers that have been released so far have featured islands and other locations in the skies above Hyrule, demonstrating that sometimes creativity really is as simple as looking up. However, regardless of whether it's a new IP like Forspoken, a follow-up like Zelda, Tears of the Kingdom, or a licensed IP like Suicide Squad, it's clear how influential the genre has been since its inception. It remains to be seen how each of these innovate and how they leave their marks on a busy genre. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe and support my channel.